Okay, so here are the ground rules. I've got a Barajas custom guitar. We got Zexcoil pickups. These I'm going to be able to do coil split so you can hear them in full bucker and in single mode. I'm running the pedals into the front of a Deluxe Reverb, and I'm running that into a RedSeven Load Box. I've got the amp into the normal channel of the Deluxe Reverb, running at about 5 on the volume, let's say 6 on the brightness, and 5 on the bass. So here's neck pickup humbucker. This is what it sounds like. Okay, our contestants, we have Mr. Comando, which is a compressor. We got the Habanero, which is a boost pedal. We got the Cuchillo, which is a distortion, pretty high gain. We've got the Superodex, which is an overdrive, kind of based on the Tube Screamer circuit. And we got the Overmental, which is based on the OCD, another overdrive. So compressor, boost, distortion, overdrive, okay? Let's start with Mr. Comando. I've kind of have them set up to where I like to hear them, and I'll just give you a couple of settings on each one. So here's the clean sound once again. Here's Mr. Comando. Off. Right, so that would be like your transparent setting for this. If I wanted to hear more, I would raise the sustain and maybe pull back the clip. That would be a pretty common compression setting for me to use, right? Let's add a little bit more sustain and add a little bit more of the clipping. And just for the kicks, I'm going to show you an extreme setting that I sometimes can do to get this amp to basically work like an overdrive. So once again, off. Let's go to the bridge. So I'm kind of driving the Deluxe Reverb just a tad. Matero, Mr. Comando. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the Matero Habanero, right, which is a boost pedal. So once again, I've got my Deluxe Reverb at 5, treble at 6, bass at 5. Okay, we're going to start with that, and then we'll clean up the amp a little bit just to hear the different colors that the booster will add, okay? So I've got this set up to where I'm kind of pushing the front of the amp just a tad. So here's the sound without the pedal on. Now with the pedal on. So it sounds like the amp, right? Let's try something just for kicks. I'm going to crank this, and I'm going to bring this down to, say, 4. So the amp is down to 4, and this is cranked. And then we're going to crank the amp and turn this off and see if it sounds kind of like the amp boosted. So here's the amp clean. Now amp on 10. Brace yourselves. Back to 4. Right? So it sounds like the amp. It's a pretty clean boost. It obviously has a little bit of its color, but it's not adding a crazy amount of mids or a crazy amount of character, which is kind of cool. I use this a lot. And I actually use this a lot in front of my Fractal. When I go play live and I take the FM9, I actually put this right in front of it. Guitar into this and this into the front of the Fractal. And it works amazingly because I have control of just pushing the different amps that I have on the Fractal. Or I'll turn on a drive on the Fractal and then I'll push it with this. So, I mean, I have a new love for just boost pedals, you know, just different kind of boost pedals just to push things, you know. So let's just do a little bit of playing. Let me crank this up a little bit, say the 5.5. Let's go to the neck pickup and split it for just a change. Matero Habanero. Okay, so now we're going to check out this kind of the high gain beast over here. This is the Matero Cuchillo, right? This is based on the, kind of inspired by the crank distortion pedal, which if you remember crank amplification, I think that was based on their Crank Revolution, maybe that was the name of it. And from a video that I saw, it was kind of the treble booster circuit mixed with another drive pedal. So the way that I use this is I kind of like to think of it as like if you have an amp where you, obviously there's a couple of ways to use it. I can push an amp that's already kind of saturating, but then also it works great because it has a lot of color. It works great with a really cold, clean amp that just, it's not saturating enough for you to be really responding with it. Sometimes you have to play a gig where your amp has to be really, really quiet, and your kind of more transparent overdrives wimp out a little bit. So this is where this kind of a pedal comes in handy. So I've added just a little bit of delay and reverb just to kind of give it like a nice little delay and reverb for like a lead sound. So I'll show you my Now this pedal has a really aggressive EQ. I'll show you. Your trebles are just, it's like a cuchillo, you know, which means a knife. It's kind of like stabbing you. So this really allows you to mold it to whatever amp you're using. I mean, particularly for this amp, I kind of like to set it around here. And now let's just mess with the volume and the gain just to give you a little bit of a taste of what these do, right? I'm going to turn down the drive, crank the level, and then do the opposite. Let's do a little bit of a split here. Right, that sounds pretty cool. Let's try something. I'm going to turn the amp down to like 3. Right, I had it at 6. And let's just try to pretend I'm doing a scenario where I can't turn the amp up so loud where it's kind of being really responsive, right? I know it's pretty cold. I mean, I would have loved to have this pedal back when I was doing like club gigs, you know? Crank this back up and see how bad this can get. Matero Cuchillo. We're going to look at the Superodex now, and this is kind of based on the Tube Screamer circuit, but it's got a cool little mod with the low end that I think you're going to dig. So check this out. This is a great pedal if you're not familiar with Tube Screamers. They're kind of punching in the mids, and a pretty common way to use it is to just crank the level and push the mids into an amp that maybe doesn't have a lot of control with mids, like for example Deluxe Reverb, or you know, any of these blackface style amps that maybe are not that are missing the mid knob. So Deluxe Reverbs have a fixed mids, but you don't have any control over it. So this is where a pedal like this with a mid hump can come in handy. Right? So here is my clean sound with this. And here I'm cranking the level. I have the gain all the way down, so I'm cranking the level and the tone. And I'll show you afterwards what this bass thing does. I'm going to set it in the middle, which I think is neutral. So this switch kind of gives you two different responses of the bass. Right, there's that body. Back to the middle. Now let's go over to the A setting. B. That sounds pretty cool there, I think. Alright, let me dial this back down and just show you what the gain sounds like. Matero Superodex. Okay, last but not least, we have the Overmental, which is based on the OCD, which, Tube Screamer and OCD are probably some of the best top-selling drive pedals. This one's got some really cool mods that I'm going to show you. This is kind of like a switch to, simulate that 18 volt to 9 volt difference. We've got the bass, kind of a similar bass thumpy response thing here. And then we've got this color thing, which kind of adds a little bit of signal, adds a little bit of punchy high mids, and a little bit of volume. So here's my clean channel again. Cool, right? So let's switch. Let's do this bass thing first. I'm gonna split the coil just so you can hear the bass thing. Right? Totally responsive, totally audible. Let's go over to this 9 volt to 18 volt switch. So this is one of those things, I don't know if you can hear it, but I definitely feel the difference of the 18 volt to the 9 volt. The color, this is probably one of my favorite things in this pedal. Check this out. Now check this out. I'm gonna kind of show you what happens when I crank some of these, and it totally sounds like a different pedal when you crank the volume and when you crank the gain. Check this out. Gain down, level up. Just leave this around here, maybe midway. Right, totally different color, which I love. Definitely one of my favorites. Matero Overmental. Dig it. So guys, thank you for sticking around. Hope you dug the video. If you want to check out more on these Matero FX, I'll leave the website in the description. I'll also leave the timestamps in the description if you want to skip around to hear the different pedals. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. See you soon.